Sports Skillet.
Just what it feels like.
So how do you like? Now say this out loud as you're driving around in your car.
Join Sports Skillet.
Just what it feels like.
So how do you like it?
So what is it? I'm curious.
You like it like this?
My God, do we love football.
Or like this?
I love the sport of baseball.
And what about this?
You can have a sports show without all the vicious talk.
Simple human decency.
Whatever it is that you like.
Yeah, I like chaos.
We've got it covered.
Right?
It's sports the way you like it.
My friends, you may not know this. It's got everything you want.
Here we go. Local and national sports talk that's fresh, in season, and FDA approved. If it's hot, you'll find it cooking with Jeff, Jay, and Kelly. They don't just stir the pot, they add more flavor than the other guys. Get ready to dig in and taste some Sports Skillet.
Ooh, tastes good.
Right now.
And welcome once again to the Sports Skillet live stream, emanating here from the posh but not overly ostentatious studios here at Connecticut School of Broadcasting in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I am Jay. I'm joined in the studio by Jeff Scott. We're going to have Mike Nebbia calling in. Unfortunately, we don't have Ken Moskowitz this week. He is dealing with a boiler issue. Very important in these winter months to have some heat in your house. So Ken is taking the week off. He'll be back with us again next week. But we are going to muddle through. We will get through this. Lots of sports topics to talk to you about.
Muddle through.
So,
we don't muddle through anything.
Absolutely, we muddle through a lot of stuff.
No, we're so prepared. We
are.
Notes.
I got notes here. I got a bunch of notes here.
We don't muddle anything, Jay.
That's true. We are predominant. We've got notes. We've got questions that need to be answered. So again, we want to have you subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. So hit the button to subscribe so you don't miss any of our Sports Skillet live streams on Friday. And again, we want to encourage you to follow us on social media as well. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just hit the follow, hit the subscribe buttons on them so that you don't miss any of our great contents. And of course, head over to our website, sportsskilletradio.com. Download our app so that when we go live on Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. on Fox Sports Radio 920 The Jersey, you don't miss any of our great content there as well. We've got some other people in the studios on Sunday, so you want to remember Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. to tune in to our show on Fox Sports Radio 920 The Jersey, or download our app. You can listen to us there. Or if you can't pick up the radio broadcast on Fox Sports Radio 920 The Jersey, you head over to our website. Just click on Listen Live, and there you go.
Yeah, while you're muddling around, you could listen to our show.
Exactly. While you're doing anything, just put us on and listen to us. It's a great show. We have great guests on the show as well. So you don't want to miss anything regarding Sports Skillet is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're going to begin with this. We know who is playing in the Super Bowl now. It will be a really good matchup a week from Sunday. The San Francisco 49ers won their game. They are advancing to the Super Bowl. You're not too excited, Jeff?
No. I know the other Jeff is very excited.
Absolutely, my brother.
This Jeff was disappointed because his team kind of...
Yeah, that's one of the things that happened last weekend,
And for those listening, it's not the Eagles. I'm sorry, guys. I've mentioned this many times before.
And we will be talking a little bit about the Eagles in this broadcast as well. We want to know if you think the Eagles' slow process in filling out some of their coaching vacancies, because they have a few of them that they have to get filled now. They have the offensive coordinator position that has to get filled. They have the defensive line position that has to get filled. They have the wide receivers coach that has to get filled, and the defensive backs coach that also has to get filled. And you're seeing with the Eagles, a lot of the big-time coaches, a lot of the coaches with some cachet around them are staying where they are or signing elsewhere. So that's a topic that we're going to be going into a little bit later in the live stream. Are the Eagles slow process? Do you feel concerned that they are losing out on these top coaches, that they're either staying where they are? What's going on with the Eagles? We want to get your opinion there as well. And so, but like I said, we're going to begin with the matchup in the Super Bowl. We've got, the Kansas City Chiefs now taking on the San Francisco 49ers. You got a dynamic offense versus a dynamic defense. So, they say defense wins championships, offense wins games. So we're going to...
Hopefully they'll do both.
So we're going to find out which one, does the 49ers defense win the championship, or does the Kansas City Chiefs offense win a game and get them the championship?
Well, hopefully Andy Reid can do both sides and realize that. So
exactly.
Going into this, he knows they have a good defense. So it's like, maybe we should beef up our offense a little bit.
Well, no, Andy Reid's offense is good. He doesn't need to build up because Andy Reid is Kansas City. Kansas City has the offense.
So San Francisco doesn't have the offense then?
Not quite. Nowhere near the offense of
it's
Kansas.
kind of a little one-sided because they don't have...
Because San Francisco has the defense and Kansas City has the prolific offense. So one of them has to give. Yeah. If Kansas City is going to win, then their offense is going to guide them with Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, all those guys on offense. If San Francisco is going to win, they're going to need a really good showing by their defense, and their defense is going to have to limit the Kansas City offense.
Well, you can only limit it for so long. Because if their offense is not going to get touchdowns or any kind of points whatsoever, forget it.
Exactly.
And truthfully, I'm hoping for Kansas City.
I'm hoping for, I know my brother Jeff he's been a 49er fan. It's been a while since Harbaugh got him to the Super Bowl years ago.
How many have they won so far?
49ers have won a bunch because they
don't need any more.
They were a prolific team under Bill Walsh, and Joe Montana, and then Steve Young. So San Francisco has a bunch. This is the first time since the early 60s that Kansas City has been in the Super Bowl. They were in Super Bowl I.
Saw how that turned out.
So it's been a while for Kansas City. So, and it looks to me as though Kansas City is going to be that premier Super Bowl contender, because I do believe that the New England Patriots are going to be taking a huge step backwards starting next season. They're not going to be the Super Bowl contender that they've been in the past. So I think that honor is going to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. So even if they don't win this year, I do believe Kansas City will be in the Super Bowl hunt with Andy Reid, with Pat Mahomes for the next few years.
Oh, yeah. Ever since they got Andy Reid, and this is where I was kind of going, is that I've now been converted. I believe in Andy Reid, and I see what he can do now, and I understand that. And, I feel disappointed of how he was treated at the Eagles, because I think if they actually played for him, we would have won more Super Bowls, in my opinion. But now look.
There's no here's the thing. There's no question that Andy Reid is a Hall of Fame coach. Any lingering doubt, and here's the thing, any lingering doubt about Andy Reid being a Hall of Fame coach, and a lot of people are saying that he has the credentials to get in there now, and he's going to continue coaching for the foreseeable future. So he's going to amass a win total that will no doubt get him in there. And especially if he's still contending with, like I said, with Jason Kelce and Pat Mahomes and the supporting cast around him, he's going to get the wins. He's going to more likely than not still contend for the Super Bowls. going forward. But if he can get that only thing that's really missing from his resume is a Super Bowl win. And this is going to be the second time in his career that he's gotten to the Super Bowl. And the last time he got there was with the Philadelphia Eagles way back in the early 2000s with Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens.
Great team there.
Quarterback and wide receiver, and
they failed.
And they failed. They came out short in that Super Bowl. And a lot of that, Andy Wood's still a somewhat new head coach. He's been coaching for a while now. And the one knock against Andy Reid has always been his time management and how he calls, a game late, when it comes down to those key calls late in the game and his time management. That has been his kind of kryptonite right there that has kind of held him back. So if he can get this Super Bowl win under his belt, then he can get fitted for the gold jacket, as soon as the Super Bowl is over, because there's no doubt that he's going into the Hall of Fame after that. But it's just, that's the one thing that, he gets to these championship games, or he'll have really good seasons. And, same thing with the Eagles. He'll put together some good teams, and he'll get to these NFC championship games or AFC championship games, and then he'll come up short. But now I think he has the quarterback that can overcome some of his deficits. When it comes to the time management, Pat Mahomes can run around in the pocket, make something happen. If nothing's going on down the field, we saw him last week take off and run the ball on a highlight reel run that will go down in NFL history. Will be one of the great runs by an NFL quarterback.
I loved it. It's like, no, I'll just do it myself.
Exactly. And and that's the thing. So he's got that quarterback that even if he puts in a bad play, Pat Mahomes can make chicken soup out of it.
Exactly. Well, that's also having the good players behind you too, and wanting to play for you. I mean,
exactly.
I really think that's one of the things the Eagles did not do for him. Some of his players did not, I guess, trust him enough.
Especially late in his tenure with the Philadelphia Eagles, when you're coaching a team for a while, and you have a bunch of veteran players, and you have a lot of autonomy, which he had with the Philadelphia Eagles. Things can kind of get stale, because you're delivering the same message year after year. And then he started bringing in some assistant coaches that didn't really work out. I mean, you heard that the defensive players were not really interacting with the offensive players, and they were operating under their own rules, and and then he hired the offensive line coach as his defensive coordinator, to kind of move things around or freshen things up, and things just started going sideways for him in Philadelphia, and it just grew time for a change, because he was delivering the same message, same press conferences, game after game, year after year. And there was just same stale, it was like, show us some, and the thing was with Andy in Philadelphia, he would have this bland press conference, not really tell everybody much. And then he would go out and you would see him somewhere around town, or he talked to people outside of that press conference, or whatever, and he would be a totally different Andy Reid. He would be jovial, joking around, a little bit looser and everything. And it's like, why couldn't you be this way during your press conference? And that would add to the frustration.
But Jay, some people just in front of a camera can't do that. But out in the open, personal, like no one really judging you, you can be yourself. And I think that's the thing that he has. He has that. I don't want to say stage fright, but he has.
Well,
that,
no, I don't. I don't think it's
professional and keep it simple.
Well, I don't think it's stage fright. What I think it is the same type of thing Bill Belichick does in his press conferences. Is that I'm going to protect my players. I'm not going to give you much of anything. I'll give you maybe a breadcrumb here or there, but kind of like Bill Belichick, if you ever listen to his press conferences, he will just, we're, moving on to the next game. We're, talking about the next game. This game is over, and he doesn't give the sports writers anything. And that's kind of what Andy Reid was doing in Philadelphia. It wasn't that he was afraid of anything. It's just that I know that the sports writers are going to be writing down, trying to parse out something that I say, and and you run with it and use it. So I'm not going to give you anything during, but then, and he's starting to loosen up. You can see that in his press conferences now in Kansas City. He'll joke around a little bit more. He'll be a little bit looser, a little bit more towards the Doug Peterson type of press conferences where Doug will be a little bit more open, a little bit more honest. He might, joke around a little bit, not going to give you a whole lot, but, he'll be looser, a little bit more forthcoming. And that's kind of what, the fans wanted out of Andy Reid because they knew he was a good guy. But it's like, just give us something, let us know, bring us into your world,
Yeah. Well, maybe he just wanted to let action speak louder than words.
Yeah.
And he probably
definitely did that.
And like you said, he probably doesn't want to give something away that maybe another team can go, oh, he's going to do that? Oh, maybe we should think about it. I'm like, it's like
that too.
It's like, why should the generals tell the people what's going to happen? Because next thing you know, there's going to be cameras on the beaches when you're trying to save a third world country.
That's true.
I'm not naming names.
There you go. Yes. So the Packers were dominated by the 49ers 37-20 in the NFC Championship game last weekend. So one of the questions that we have coming out of that game is, were Aaron Rodgers and the Packers overrated all season? Were they masquerading as a 13-3 team? They were an 8-point underdog going into that game last weekend. The Packers had only beaten one team all season that were a playoff contender, that were a playoff team, and with a starting quarterback. With their starting quarterback playing and healthy. So, that kind of, losing to the 49ers may not have been all that surprising. I know I had picked the Green Bay Packers to upset the 49ers last week because I was looking at the difference in quarterbacks. But then
you want to go against your brother too, so
wanted to go against my brother a little bit there. But when you start looking at some of the stats, maybe it wasn't all that surprising that the Green Bay Packers lost.
Maybe they just got too overconfident with themselves.
People
hyped them up so much. It's like, you know what? Yeah, we got this. Yeah. Oh, I guess we're not that good. I guess we should have gotten off our high horse for a few minutes and actually played.
Yeah, that could be too. Because when you're 13-3, you won a playoff game. You're coming off that. You're coming off the high.
Yeah.
It can be really daunting when you go up against and the 49ers are a really good team. Mm-hmm. So you go up against that really good team and all of a sudden you're shown to be what you actually are. And so I wonder if we actually overestimated the ability of the Green Bay Packers last week. They were a 13-3 team, but when you've only beaten one playoff team all season with their starting quarterback playing and healthy, that should be an indicator that maybe you're not quite as good as your record indicates you are, even with Aaron Rodgers as your starting quarterback. And now, having lost that game, Aaron Rodgers has now lost his last 3, count on 3, NFC Championship games. Since the merger, only 4 other starting quarterbacks have lost 3 straight to join Aaron Rodgers in that infamy. And those 4 starting quarterbacks that have lost 3 straight, I know my brother Jeff could probably name one of them, as he had to watch this particular quarterback play during his time at Syracuse. I'm talking about, and come to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm talking Donovan McNabb. 2 would be Bernie Kosar. He did it with the Cleveland Browns. He accomplished that feat. 3 would be Danny White. And 4 would be the Oakland Raiders' Ken the Snake Stabler. So now Aaron Rodgers joins those 4 guys as the only quarterbacks since the NFL merger to have lost 3 straight NFC Championship games. So again, you're looking at where do the Green Bay Packers go from here? You're looking at Aaron Rodgers having lost 3 straight NFC Championship games, showing that he may not be that NFC Championship game quarterback going forward. He's going to be older going into next year. You're looking at teams improving. The Niners don't look like they're going anywhere. You're going to have the Seattle Seahawks getting healthier. Their running backs are going to be back and on the team again. They're going to have another year to build. You're going to have the Rams, back again. You're going to have a bunch of teams improving next year. And you just wonder if this may have been it for Aaron Rodgers getting to a Super Bowl. So, we were talking a little bit about Andy Reid. Can he win his first Super Bowl?
I think he has a good shot. I really do.
I think so too. It's going to be, like we were talking, it's going to be that classic matchup between offense and defense. But he has 2 good coaches behind him in Mike Kafka, as his quarterback's coach, and he has a good offensive coordinator there to kind of keep him. And I think this is important because it worked for Doug Peterson in Philadelphia. We know Andy Reid loves throwing the ball, and that was his big issue in Philadelphia as well, is that Andy Reid would throw. Okay, I got to mix it around. Throw, and totally forget about the running game. And I think this is where Eric Bieniemy, as his offensive coordinator, kind of keeps him grounded, the same way that Frank Reich did to Doug Peterson. It's like you're getting too far away from the running game. We have to mix in a couple of runs here or there.
You got to keep it, up and down. You don't want them to keep thinking, oh, they're going to do a throw. Okay, they're throwing. All right, oh, let me guess. They're going to throw. Okay, well, we know what's coming. So you got to keep changing it and keep them off their game.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's why you need, sometimes some of the, like the Doug Peterson and the Andy Reid needs that good offensive coordinator right by them to kind of veer them back, it's
balance them out.
Balance them out. Yeah. Hey, you're veering too far to the right, or, hey, we got to mix in a run here.
Yeah. Tap them on the shoulder. Hey, Andy, no more throws for that. Do something else. Okay, I'll be over here if you need me.
Exactly.
See, that's a good, coach to help you out there.
And so that's a good thing with Bieniemy, the relationship between Bieniemy and Andy Reid there to keep Andy Reid kind of grounded. And
like you're saying, I think it's also him too growing as a coach, realizing, these people are right. I'm going to listen to them more. I'm going to change it up. And look, we're back at the Super Bowl now. I know going in, these 49ers, they're a good team. They know what they're doing. They have a good defense, so we got to keep that. But our offense is just as powerful.
Yep.
So hopefully our defense can keep their offense back, which I don't think is going to be a problem. So knowing all that and keeping, I want to say, the council around him.
Yep.
And utilizing that and having the team behind him 100%. this is why I'm converted. I really think they're going to win the Super Bowl this time.
Yep. Like I said, I think they got a good chance. I think, and we got Andy Reid coming off. I know there's going to be a lot of press requests. He did some interviews in Philadelphia this past, calling the Philadelphia radio stations this past week and everything. And I know he's going to be pressed for time. But Andy Reid is also very good coming off a bye week. That's one of the things historically Andy Reid has been great about, is if you give him an extra week of preparation to look over an opponent and prepare for them, he's historically been very good at that. So that's another thing that the 49ers will have to overcome with Andy Reid, is the fact that he and his offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, and Mike Kafka will be able to sit down, analyze the 49er defense, and see if they have any weaknesses in their game, what they can attack there. And, Andy Reid, very good coming off a bye week there. So that's something that for the 49ers and for everybody to consider going in. I'm going to take a brief timeout here, and just for a couple of seconds to identify our live stream here, and we will be back.
You're listening to the Sports Skillet Radio Show, cooking up all the hot takes. Jump in and join us at 609-919-9200. Download our app at sportsskilletradio.com. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by searching for Sports Skillet. And remember to show us some love. Like, follow, and share.
Okay, and we are back on the Sports Skillet live stream. We were talking about the Super Bowl coming up. Question that I want to propose to everybody out there. Do you think that George Kittle will be the next Gronk? Gronk is retired. George Kittle is a very gregarious, outgoing tight end for the San Francisco 49ers, one of the top, if not the top tight end in football. I mean, you can put Kittle up there with, of course, Zach Ertz of the Philadelphia Eagles as one of the better tight ends. Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs is right there. I think those are arguably the three best tight ends right now in the NFL. George Kittle is going to get his chance this coming week to be front and center and answer questions and be out there. And he's already, like I said, you can take your pick, I think, of who you think is the best tight end in the NFL right now, be it Zach Ertz or George Kittle or Travis Kelce. You can make your argument for one of those three, but I think Kittle has, definitely does have the opportunity, depending on the seasons that Travis Kelce and, of course, Zach Ertz put up. He has the opportunity now to really seize hold of that top tight end role, be front and center, have people follow him on social media, get his brand out there definitely this week. So I think he definitely has that opportunity. I don't know whether he's going to be the top tight end like Gronk was, but he's definitely on the 49ers a player that you have to pay attention to in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are going to have to account for him when they are on defense. So it's it's one of those things where you got to pay attention to George Kittle, and I think he could take over for Gronk if he puts himself out there, markets himself correctly during this week. So, we will see what happens. The other question that was posed this week is, will Patty Mahomes be more Dan Marino, or will he be more Pat Mahomes in this game? You look at the career of Dan Marino and Pat Mahomes, And they're strikingly similar in the stats that they put up when they were able to get to their first Super Bowl, and and what actually happened there. And it's funny because in his second year as a quarterback, Dan Marino played who in the Super Bowl? It was, as quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, he played the San Francisco 49ers. So now Pat Mahomes, second year as a quarterback, is playing the San Francisco 49ers. He played, Dan Marino played the 49ers in the 84 Super Bowl, and it was a 38-16 blowout. I believe that was the final score of that of Super Bowl in 19. So Dan Marino didn't get the job done there. So you wonder, the two, Pat Mahomes is kind of trending on the Dan Marino track. So you wonder, going into this game, will it be too much for Pat Mahomes? It certainly, games to this point haven't been, but you never know. The games keep getting bigger. There's more and more pressure on you as you go along. And now, only in his second year as the starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, you wonder if the moment is going to be too big for Pat Mahomes once the ball is kicked off and he's under center and everybody all across the country is watching him. Will he trend more towards Dan Marino, or will he be the Pat Mahomes that we've seen going forward? Will he be that Pat Mahomes that, that could be the best quarterback in the AFC right now, or maybe in football? Or will he trend down? I mean, we're going to have to wait and see that. That will be something to follow as we go forward. Another story that Eagle fans in particular may want to track concerning the on the other side is running back Raheem Mostert of the San Francisco 49ers. He has a great story. I encourage everybody to Google his story, check him out on social media. Here's a guy that was on the Eagles practice squad. The Eagles were one of the first teams, if not the first team, that he went to out of college. Was on the Eagles practice squad. Chip Kelly brought him in. Chip Kelly cut him. And then now he was cut by several other teams, 6 or 7 other teams. And finally, he was given a chance by the San Francisco 49ers to be their running back. And he's blossomed. I mean, he's taken over the running back role for the 49ers to the point now where they may be looking just to compliment him. I mean, they're going to go forward with him, no doubt, on their roster for next year at the very least. And he's carved out a nice role, and he's somebody that the Kansas City Chiefs will have to account for on defense. He's taken over games, and he just has a great story about how he persevered all those years after getting cut from one team and then going to another and getting cut and going to another and being on the practice squad and getting cut, going to, and all that time, never giving up, pursuing his dream, knowing that he had the ability to play on the NFL level, to be a starting running back. An outstanding story of just perseverance, never giving up. And he has just a fabulous thing. And I encourage everybody to check out his story. And he's another guy, if you're an Eagles fan and you're rooting for the 49ers in this game, he's another guy that you can kind of root for that has Philadelphia Eagles background in his career. And he said he tapes up in his locker, he has taped up all the teams throughout his career that have cut him, and he uses that for motivation every game that he goes into.
So you're telling me he basically has a hate list in his locker to push him to say, I'm going to show you, and you, especially you, Eagles. I'm coming for you.
Exactly.
Wow.
He has the teams. He's like, here's the 6 or 7 teams that have cut me over my career. And, he uses that as jet fuel to motivate him going into the game. And we see how that's working out for the 49ers pretty doggone well.
Obviously, yeah. Maybe everybody should have like their own blacklist or something, Just really push them, to play.
Yep. And so there we go. A little bit of a Super Bowl preview for you there. We want to know, we're going to tweet this out a little bit later, but we want to know what you think about the Super Bowl. Questions, comments, anything like that. We're going to tweet out, who you're rooting for. We want to find that out. See how many of our Sports Skillet audience there are rooting for the 49ers or are rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs. Also, one of the reasons that, I'm also going to be rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs is friend of the show, Lee Steinberg, is the agent of Pat Mahomes.
Oh.
So he stands to make a little bit of money. If Pat Mahomes can get a Super Bowl under his wing, so to speak, in only his second year. So when they go to renegotiate his contract, that's going to be quite a bit of money going into Lee Steinberg's pocket. But, so that's another reason why Lee Steinberg has been such a good friend of the show, comes on our show from time to time and talks with us and everything. And we'll see if we can get Lee on the show and talk a little bit about Pat Mahomes, and what everything Pat Mahomes is going through leading up to the big game. And
it'd be great if we could get Pat Mahomes on the show. That would. Oh my God.
I spoke to Lee when I was at his conference, and Lee said, getting Pat is going to be a little bit tricky, at least until the off season.
Oh yeah.
Then he might be able to get Pat Mahomes for us, but the media demands on Pat, and and you also have to go through the team and everything like that.
Yeah.
So
all the legal red tape you have to jump through, and yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we are a small little, news show and everything, but we're still small.
Yeah,
So everybody gets the first dibs first.
Exactly. So that was our, little Super Bowl talk. We then had a little Twitter. We had 2 Twitter battles going on this past week on social media. We had Richard Sherman of the San Francisco 49ers battling it out with former cornerback Darrelle Revis. Those two are going back and forth on social media, Twitter and everything. Darrelle Revis, popped up about Richard Sherman and who was the better cornerback. Richard Sherman's still playing. Of course, Darrelle Revis, we remember him from Revis Island. The two are going back and forth on social media.
I can throw better. No, I can throw better. No, I can throw better.
No, it's defending a pass, not corner. They're on defense.
Oh, my bad.
C-O-R-N-E-R.
I can throw better. No, I can throw better. No, I'm just. So you say corner. My bad.
They are defensive. So here's the thing. Number one is Darrelle Revis, you are retired. You don't need to take any shots at Richard Sherman. You should be above it. People know how great you were during your NFL career. No reason for you to attack Richard Sherman. I know the two of you have a grudge and everything like that, but no reason for you to attack Richard Sherman at all. He's still playing. And the thing about the two is they're asked to do to play the game 2 totally different ways. Darrelle Revis, when he was playing in the NFL, was asked to take away whoever was the opposing team's best wide receiver. Whoever it was, Darrelle, you got him, and have fun with that. And of course, Darrelle Revis guarded him, and, the wide receiver obviously is The times he was thrown to, his targets were way down, his yards were way down, that type of thing, being covered by Darrelle Revis. Now, so that was what the defensive coordinators told Darrelle Revis. Whoever, right side, left side, whatever, whoever is that best wide receiver on the team that they were facing that given week, Darrelle Revis was told to go out, cover him, that's it. Now, Richard Sherman is a different type of cornerback. What they ask, and Richard Sherman is very good at doing what he does when he's healthy. He came to the 49ers, he was a little bit banged up and everything. Now he's back to being healthier again. But Richard Sherman is asked to cover one side of the field. And that is it. Like whatever side they put him on. Right side, left side, maybe they'll rotate him a little bit. But whatever side of the field they ask Richard Sherman to cover, that's what he starts to do. He's more of a zone cornerback than Darrelle Revis. And he's been very good at that. One of the top cornerbacks doing what he does. He's been there. He's still a top cornerback in the NFL. And so yes, they're playing the same position, but they're asked to do two totally and completely different things within their defensive coordinator scheme. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can be a top zone cornerback and take away half the field, and you're not necessarily covering that team's top wide receiver, but what you are doing is you are limiting the opposition's field. In other words, whatever side of the field Richard Sherman is on, the opposing offense is going to the other side because they don't want to deal with him. Whereas Darrelle Revis, he's taking out your top guy. So whatever, when he was playing, he was taking out your top wide receiver. Or your top receiver, period. Whoever that may be. So, they're going back and forth and they're arguing which guy is better. You're both very good. You both made your case. You are both top cornerbacks within the NFL. You're just playing different things and you're comparing two different types of defensive schemes.
Apples versus oranges.
Exactly.
One makes apple pie, the other one makes orange juice. You can't compare them.
Exactly. You really can't. Other than to say they're two of the top cornerbacks in NFL history. They really are. Richard Sherman, is a top corner right now for the 49ers. Darrelle Revis had Revis Island, took out your best player, playing different things. So that's why I say, stop with the Twitter war. You guys are two of the best cornerbacks in NFL history. And there you go with that. Now we move on. And, of course, there was some Tom Brady news this past week that popped up. And Tom Brady has said that he is open-minded about the free agent process. He currently is, right now he's unemployed. He's basically a free agent. Although free agency hasn't officially started yet, but he can go to whatever team he wants to go to. His contract is no more with the New England Patriots. He and Giselle have moved. There's open speculation now as to where Tom Brady should go, and he's firing these opening little salvos at the Patriots, being open-minded. The last UFC fight he was at, he was with the Raiders owner. Apparently he had a nice little maybe 20-minute conversation with Mark Davis, the Raiders owner. I know that they were probably maybe talking a little bit more than just the UFC fight, Conor McGregor's fight. I think they probably discussed maybe a little bit more, maybe not. But, again, you're seeing Tom Brady move his family, out of the Boston area. So now, that's one salvo there. We moved it a little bit closer to the New York City, Philadelphia area. But, there's wide speculation that maybe he would be better suited to go to the Indianapolis Colts. Maybe he would be better suited to go to the Tennessee Titans, maybe because they will be looking for a quarterback. Ryan Tannehill's contract is expiring as well. Maybe he would be better suited to go to the Chargers in Los Angeles. So he might go there. So you have a lot of speculation going on about where Tom Brady may land this offseason, and he's sending out these salvos. He's firing these warning shots to kind of gauge, I guess, the Patriots' interest as to if they would be willing to re-sign him or not. At Bill Belichick. Does Bill Belichick or does Bob Kraft respond to them? Bob Kraft has always been open to say that he would like to have Tom Brady back, but this may not be Bob Kraft's call this time. This may be Belichick's call, and it may come down to money because Brady isn't getting any younger. We saw Tom Brady go out be one and done this year. The Patriots need a ton, right? They need a lot of players. They need a tight end. They need wide receivers. They haven't been able to get that right. They could use help along the offensive line. They may look at their running back situation too. And they also had to build a succession plan for Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady's not signed to them. Who's going to be, if Brady goes elsewhere, who is going to be the quarterback? And how much money will it take to sign Tom Brady? Tom Brady and Giselle may be in the position this offseason to finally say to the Patriots, hey, you know what? All these years, I've been giving you money. I gave you money. I gave you money to buy a Ferrari or to buy a Maserati or to buy a Tesla or any one of these, expensive cars. I sacrificed money so that you can go out and surround me with all this talent. And what did you surround me with last year? Not enough, and Tom Brady at this stage of his career is not the type of quarterback like a Carson Wentz. You saw in Carson Wentz, right? You saw Carson Wentz take mediocre to lesser talent to the playoffs, right? And you could say, you know what? They beat the Giants. They beat the Cowboys. Cowboys, they wanted to win that game. And you look at who Carson Wentz was throwing the ball to, was handing the ball off to, right? Look at his offensive line, all those games. Carson Wentz got it done with mediocre talent is what I'm saying. Mediocre to lesser talent. Practice squad guys. We're seeing Tom Brady at this stage of his career not be able to elevate talent. So now you look at Tom Brady and you say, how much am I willing to pay him to remain a New England Patriot? And how much is he asking for? So Tom Brady may go to them with an offer and say, you know what, I'm not willing to be the 10th or the 15th, 10th or the 12th or whatever rated quarterback. I want to be top 5 or I want to be top 6 or something like that. I want to get my salary commensurate with some of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't have to be number 1. I know I'm not going to get that, but at least for 1 year or 2 years, I would like to be among the better paid quarterbacks in the NFL after giving you all that I had, all these number of years, giving you Super Bowls, getting there. He may want to get paid, but we just don't know the market for Tom Brady. We don't know, would the Raiders move on? and sign Tom Brady for a year or two. Chargers need a quarterback. We've seen their old quarterback take off from the West Coast and move his family to Florida. And he said, that's it. That's where we're going to live. We're not moving. So they moved opposite coast. They moved to Florida. So it looks like the Chargers are going to be looking for a quarterback this year. And the Chargers are kind of ready to go. They could helicopter in Tom Brady as a starting quarterback. He has a good running back, has good tight end, good wide receivers to throw to. You know, they could live with a year or two of Tom Brady. But again, I think it's going to come down to who's offering what. And, you know, and I think and the other thing is Belichick's going to be going to Robert Kraft and saying, hey, you know what? The guy that I wanted as my starting quarterback is now playing in the Super Bowl. You see what he's doing. And, you know, so you see that going on
right there.
Yeah.
Hey, you see that guy? You remember him? I had his name on a list. And what did you do?
You went with time. You know, you
went with the guy that can't do anything.
Yeah. You know, and you just wonder if, you know, maybe they didn't get enough for, you know, for that trade to the 49ers, the Jimmy G trade. You wonder if, you know, they should have gotten more for him, you know. So, you know, you just won't go back to that trade, and it made a difference in both teams. Now, yes, out of Tom Brady, when they made that trade, Tom Brady got league MVP, and he got to the Super Bowl, and then the following year they won another Super Bowl. So, yes, you got an MVP season, and you got 2 Super Bowls, winning one out of Tom Brady. But now you see the downfall of that, and basically all the New England Patriots got for Brady was a second-round pick. You know, that's really all they got for him. So, you know, and, you know, Belichick did a solid for Jimmy Garoppolo. He made sure that Garoppolo was traded to a good situation with a good head coach and a team that was going to put talent around him and elevate his career and make him a better quarterback. He could have gotten more, I believe, from the Cleveland Browns. Could have gotten a nice haul for Jimmy Garoppolo, but instead of that, just traded him to the 49ers for a second-round pick.
You know, I had a question. Talking
Sure.
about the Patriots and Tom Brady. Do you think, now this is a what-if hypothetical question. Do you think, because Tom Brady, yeah, he's a little wonky, a little, you know, going downhill. If they didn't get rid of Antonio, do you think they would have went to the Super Bowl?
Probably not. Just by the way Kansas City's playing right now, I don't believe. And you look at some of the scores that the Patriots were putting up this year. I mean, he would have helped, but I don't see how you could have kept him on the team going through the Antonio Brown mess. And we are bringing back. Speaking of that, we are bringing back a segment that we've had on the show before. So stay tuned for that. I don't want to say reinvention, but rehashing that, you know, the old segment that we're bringing back. But
I want to do some foreshadowing there a little bit. But at the same time, bring up that question, because Tom Brady is going downhill. Would having this other player that he can work with help push the team forward? But obviously, you know, with all what's his face's, you know, little craziness, obviously that wasn't going to happen. But so I figured like that hypothetical question about certain players would have helped. Right.
Yeah, you know, it definitely would have helped, and definitely would have made things more interesting, because there is, and nobody will question Antonio Brown's skill level. I mean, he walks into any team, you know, and he's the best player, the best wide receiver on that team. I mean, that's his skill level, and one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, if not the best. But, you know, it's, you know, one of those things where, you just couldn't keep him on the team, and, you're talking about that, that Garoppolo trade. They, New England could have traded him to the Cleveland Browns, gotten the 12th overall pick in that year's draft, which, by the way, if they had made the trade and gotten the 12th overall pick, the 12th overall pick in that year's draft turned out to be Alex Secchia's favorite quarterback, Deshaun Watson. So maybe you don't end up with Jimmy G, but if he made the trade with Cleveland, he ends up with Deshaun Watson learning and biding his time behind Tom Brady. And now instead, and here's the thing.
So Deshaun, this is how you deflate a football and not let him know.
Yes, all the little tricks.
You had to bring that. I have to bring that up.
Yes, and the thing is that with a first round pick under the current rules, you get that player for a 5th year. There's that 5th year option that you don't get with drafting a player in the 2nd round or later. So he would have had 5 years to
soak it up,
learn behind Tom Brady, learn the Patriots offense, and get comfortable. And then you put him in. And then now, instead of having no one behind Tom Brady, now you have Deshaun Watson ready and willing and able to take the reins, because you don't have to worry about Jimmy G coming into the games when Brady was injured. You would have drafted him, so you would have had him for 5 years, and there's nothing he could do about that contract. You wouldn't have had it expiring where you would have that pressure on you. I've got to go with one of the two guys, Jimmy G or Tom Brady. No, you would have had him. You would have had 5 years to sit on the bench, soak it in, and go from there, and there's, Belichick's succession plan, Deshaun Watson. And how would he look as a member of the New England Patriots?
Exactly.
And you wouldn't have to play him as a member of the Houston Texans, because he would be on your team. And where would the Texans be without Deshaun Watson? So, because he wanted to send Garoppolo to a better situation than Cleveland, he took less. He got the 42nd pick in the draft, 2nd round pick. So instead of number 4, he got pick number 42 from the 49ers. But, you can't argue with Jimmy G and how that trade has worked out for him. And, you just wish, maybe if you're a Patriots fan, maybe the Patriots should have gotten more for Jimmy G. But you got 2 Super Bowls and a league MVP out of it. So, so I guess, maybe you can't argue it. But I've been talking for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to see if Mike Nebbia is ready to...
He is ready. He actually is watching, and he's like, "You guys ready for me to come on?" So he's chomping at the bit.
All right, that's awesome. So what we are going to do is take a brief time out. We're going to come back with Mike Nebbia. We always like having Mike on the Sports Skillet live stream. Remember to click on the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the topics that we're talking about here. Or check us out on our social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just follow us on those social media channels. Go over to our website, sportsskilletradio.com, so you don't miss any of our content there. You can also download our app on our website, so you don't miss any of our content on Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. from Fox Sports Radio at 920 The Jersey. And like I said, we're going to come back with Mike Nebbia, talk a little Mets with him. They made a little bit of news, and today is also Eli Manning Day. he had his press conference, officially retired, and there's a little bit of news about his jersey as well. So stay tuned for that. We'll be right back with Mike Nebbia.
You're listening to the Sports Skillet Radio Show, cooking up all the hot takes. Jump in and join us at 609-919-9200. Download our app at sportsskilletradio.com. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube by searching for Sports Skillet. And remember to show us some love. Like, follow, and share.
Remember the TV show Cheers, where everybody knows your name? Never been there. But every time I walk into Wildflowers restaurant on Pennington Circle, I feel at home and that I belong. Friday night, I headed over to Wildflowers, and even though it was packed, I easily found a seat at the bar and got cozy with 17 TVs. Baseball, golf, entertainment TV, you name it, including all NFL games. The bartender Dave suggested I order the Buffalo Wing Sampler, and you could tell he was a fervent fan. But reviews on Wildflowers Inn Restaurant Facebook page demanded I tried the garbage truck pizza, and Kelly had just arrived and promised to help me dig in. Then it came. Garbage truck pizza does not live up to its name because it smells amazing and it tastes even better. Freshly sliced peppers and pepperoni, garlic, mushrooms, mozzarella, and meatballs all baked on this incredibly crunchy and warm double crust to hold it all together perfectly. Heaven, especially with one of their 23 beers on tap. I'm a believer. Go to wildflowersinrestaurant.com for more info or just come in. They are conveniently located on the Pennington Circle, right near I-95. I promise you, they will welcome you warmly, feed you well, and perhaps soon even know your name.
You're listening to the Sports Skillet Radio Show, cooking up all the hot takes. Jump in and join us at 609-919-9200. Download our app at sportsskilletradio.com. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by searching for Sports Skillet. And remember to show us some love. Like, follow, and share.
And we are back here on the Sports Skillet live stream, and I wanted to throw this out as well. If you'd like to join us here on the live stream, you can comment on our YouTube page. We will answer any questions that you have, so you don't have to be present in the studio. You can comment on, just type it in on your computer on our YouTube page. While you're watching the show, any of the questions that we raise or any other topics of sports that you would like to talk about. If it's on your mind, that's why we are Sports Skillet. We will talk about any sports with you. You can just type it in, and any questions or comments that you have, we appreciate all of them. And again, you can also follow us on our social media pages, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well. We want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the Sports Skillet live stream. And also, if you do want to join us on the show, we welcome it. You can give us a call at 856-330-4749. Again, that's 856-330-4749. Be part of our Sports Skillet live stream. We welcome all calls. We welcome all comments. That makes the show that much better when you're interacting with us. So, again, the number you can call is 856-330-4749 to join us on the show, or just type it in off your computer. Any sport, any topic is fair game with us here on the live stream, or when we go live on Fox Sports Radio 920 The Jersey every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. And with that, every week we have our contributor Mike Nebbia. He gives us a New York flavor. Lots going on within the New York sporting scene this week. So we're going to bring in our contributor Mike Nebbia. We have an article that was recently posted by Mike up on our website. So you can head over to sportsskilletradio.com and check that out. Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. And yourself?
I'm doing okay. Of course, we also have Jeff Scott in the studio with us.
Hey, Mikey, how you doing?
All right. I hope you're not causing any more trouble there, Jeff. Identity always stolen Scott.
Oh, no. NASCAR's over, so I can make a right turn now. It's all good. It's all good.
You can cause trouble with football, too, so...
Let's start out talking a little baseball, Mike. The Mets now have their manager. They helicoptered in. There's going to be no changes to the current coaching staff. They are helicoptering in Luis Rojas, who was on their coaching staff already. They're just promoting him to manager. What did you think of this hire? Did you want somebody else in there? What's your thoughts about Rojas being the new Mets manager?
It's an okay hire. I still wish Beltran would have stayed, but I think the Mets were erring on the side of caution with Beltran. I think he would have handled himself all right, but as a first-year manager, I wasn't sure if he could have handled himself all season. Plus, the Mets couldn't afford to lose their manager mid-season if anything came up with Beltran. So they erred on the side of caution with him. I'd love to see Beltran make a rebound, either 2021 or 2022, hopefully in a managerial position or on a coaching staff position like hitting coach for the Royals or for the Mets or what have you. Yeah, but among those that were named in the Astrogate report, I think Beltran has the better shot of rebounding, coming back to baseball in a coaching position. Hank and Cora, not sure.
I wonder, here's the thing. They only signed Luis Rojas to a 2-year deal. So they're not projecting him, at least at this point. Now, anything can happen down the road. They can see how he's managing during the course of this year. But a 2-year contract kind of means like we're satisfied now, you're getting the role now, but we don't know how this thing is going to work out. They didn't give him a long-term contract like they did Beltran. I just wonder if maybe they're going to revisit the managerial helm. The Mets are going to revisit that position after this year and maybe, depending on how they finish, maybe get rid of Rojas and get a more permanent solution in there. Not that Rojas couldn't be that guy, but maybe revisit it. Maybe bring in A.J. Hinch, the manager that was fired by the Houston Astros. Maybe they look at him as a possible manager.
I err on the side of caution with Hinch after Astrogate. I'd like to bring Beltran back. I would love to bring Beltran back after this season if Rojas doesn't pan out. Return Rojas to his QC role. But I have faith in Rojas. He was a part of the Mets minor league system for a while with their AA farm team in Binghamton. Won a championship in Binghamton, too, so who knows? He skipped an entire level to come to the major league level and manage the Mets, so you might see some good things out of Rojas.
Very well. You could very well be correct there, Mike. The other thing, and you bring up a very good point, is that Rojas did manage a lot of the current Mets down in the lower minor leagues, so he is familiar with the Mets lineup that's going to be going on, that he's going to be taking care of. I know he's not going to have any say in his coaching staff. I'm just wondering maybe if you think that may be an issue, is his being put into the role as a manager and not really having a lot of say over his assistant coaches, the bench coach, the pitching coach, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I think that may be an issue because the current coaching staff was put in under not just Callaway, but also under Beltran before Astros Gate surfaced. So Rojas not having a say in his coaching staff may hinder him a bit, but it might not hinder him too much because he'll have Chili Davis, he'll have bench coach that Beltran put in. I always forget his name. He'll have a good hitting coach, he'll have a good bench coach, he'll have a good pitching coach to get this bullpen in order, get the starting rotation in order. It's all a matter of how he formats his lineup. That's going to be the big key for the Mets in 2020.
Agreed. And his in-game management, too. Not only putting together the lineup, but his in-game decisions, too. Because I look at this National League East, and it's going to be a bear for all the, between the Phillies, the Mets, Atlanta, and the Washington Nationals. All teams are making corrections, making additions to their rosters, to their coaching staff this season. It's going to be a fun ride this coming year. I can't wait for spring training to start and for the gloves to start popping and everything.
So, Rojas was good in Double-A, but between Double-A and Major League Baseball, it's a whole different animal. The teams are loaded with talent. It's getting younger and younger each year, and it's basically a chess match, outsmarting your opponent. And question for Rojas is, can he outsmart guys like Girardi? Can he outsmart Mattingly? Can he outsmart who's the manager
the Atlanta
Madden?
Yep. The Atlanta Braves manager and the Nationals manager, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to be a bear.
Martinez.
Yep. To outsmart those guys, those in-game decisions are going to be crucial, and how you get the players to perform up to their level and keep them healthy. I mean, those are going to be key things to getting a playoff spot and winning the National League East this year, because you're going to have 4 very good teams in there.
You're going to have 4 very good teams in there. I do not count the Marlins, because they're not going to be good for a while. They're not going to be good until at least 2023 or 2024, the way they're going. And it's the same question for David Ross in Chicago. They're going to have some very good teams in the Central. The question is, can they outsmart these up-and-coming managers? Can they outsmart these veteran managers? It's going to be a fun ride in 2020.
Oh, I believe it absolutely will be. I am looking forward to it. How it all transpires and how it all comes out. And, it's going to be a really fun ride. Going over to football, today is Eli Manning Day. You have Eli Manning officially announcing his retirement, and news broke that no other player will wear his number as a member of the New York Giants. They are going to retire it. So, what's your thoughts about Eli Manning Day and his career as a member of the New York Giants?
He had a fine career. He came from a good pedigree with the Manning name. And he was the one that helped the Giants get back to relevance in the NFC East, stopping the Patriots cold twice over, winning the Super Bowl MVP twice over. And first half of his career was fantastic. He had some good receivers around him. He had a good offensive line around him. And he had a very good coach in Tom Coughlin. Second half of his career, I think the only good player he had was Odell Beckham, and he was a diva. And no stability in the coaching staff. Offensive line couldn't protect him. And it was just a complete dumpster fire the second half of his career. So if you're only judging the first half of his career was Hall of Fame worthy. Second half, I'm iffy on, but I think he'll make Hall of Fame, no question about it. Probably not first ballot, maybe second ballot.
Could be. I definitely think he's probably going to wind up. I mean, his career record is 500, but then you look at the fact that he got to and won a couple of Super Bowls, taking out Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in the process. So I think he'll definitely make the he'll wind up definitely making the NFL Hall of Fame, and played for the Giants throughout his NFL career. I think it's only right that they retire his number, and kudos to Eli for a great career. And I think also what kind of pushed him into retirement is that he was no longer going to be the starting quarterback of the New York Giants. they had kind of moved on. And when he surveyed the landscape out there weren't going to be many, if any, teams that were going to offer him a starting role on their team. They were going. Any team that had an opening for a starting quarterback may be looking to Tom Brady or be looking to draft one, or already have a starting quarterback. So his options, his options were probably not really great out there. If there were any options for him, teams may have been more willing to bring him on as a backup. But obviously,
he didn't want to be a backup.
Exactly.
If he was looking for a new starter, they'll probably go to a Tagovailoa. I always mispronounce that name.
Tagovailoa.
Like the Tom Brady. Tagovailoa?
Yep.
I always mispronounce that name. He's got a strange last name.
It is tough to pronounce.
And this is coming from a guy who pronounces teacher's assistant's name perfectly.
But yeah, I mean, I just don't, I just don't think that there were many options, if any, out there for Eli. So, not willing to become a backup quarterback to continue on his career. The only other option was for him to retire and hang it up. And I think this was a good time for him to do it. He got to have that send-off game a couple months ago in New York. So he got his send-off, when Danny Dimes was injured. So, he got his send-off, and this was a good time for him to hang it up. So kudos to Eli Manning on his retirement. Hope all goes well for him, and maybe he can do something with his brother now or move on to something else, maybe broadcasting, who knows. But kudos to Eli Manning, and kudos for the Giants for retiring his number 10. So no Giant in the future will wear the number 10. That is going to be retired by the New York Giants. Talking about the Super Bowl coming up. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit more about that again next week as well. But what were your thoughts about the championship games last week, Mike?
The NFC title game was just complete dumpster fire. I had the Packers taking down the 49ers just to go against your brother.
Yep.
49ers were just too tough. Packers showed some fight towards the end, but it was too little too late. Aaron Rodgers, 3-time loser in the NFC title game.
Yes.
Are you screwing with me right now?
Yeah, can you imagine a player of that caliber losing 3 straight championship games? I mean, we had it earlier in the show about who he joined on that exclusive list. Donovan McNabb, Bernie Kosar, Danny White, and Ken the Snake Stabler. All guys that have lost 3 straight NFC championship games. Unbelievable. In that one, the Packers just didn't have enough to beat them. I mean, like you, I had picked the Packers to win the game. I thought, the difference in quarterbacks, if the Packers could keep the game close, the difference in quarterbacks might rear its head. But unfortunately, the Packers were not able to keep the game close, losing 37-20 in that one. Just a bad game from Aaron Rodgers. Packers were never able to get on track, and 49ers are heading to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, once it got out of hand, I just stayed to watch the premiere of 911 Lone Star.
Yeah, I'm sure some people were with you on that one. Of course, on the other side, you had the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC advancing to the Super Bowl. And what did you think of that game between the Kansas City Chiefs last week?
That one was great. I'll give it that. Tennessee was not supposed to make it to the AFC title game. They did. They weren't supposed to beat New England. They did. They weren't supposed to beat Baltimore. They did. Vegas lost a ton of money on the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, because you looked at the matchup, and I felt going in, I kind of picked Kansas City, but I thought the Tennessee Titans running game would be really crucial to them keeping stride with Kansas City, because the one way that they could beat Kansas City is through their running game. They are a power running offense. And I just thought that they got away from the running game a little bit. They didn't run enough, especially in the second half. I know that they were behind, but the best way to defeat Kansas City is to keep Pat Mahomes and that offense sitting on the sidelines. That's one of the key ways where you can get a win over them. And I just felt that the Titans, I know they fell behind, but they had to stick with it more. They got away from it, and that's what kind of cost them the game.
Yeah, they couldn't keep Pat Mahomes off the field. They couldn't execute their run game, and that's what cost the Titans. That's what cost Ryan Tannehill a shot at returning to Miami.
Yep, absolutely. So we now have the 49ers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And let's get an early preview from you, Mike. What are you anticipating week out from this matchup taking place?
I'm anticipating a shootout. No question about it. We have two fantastic quarterbacks in Pat Mahomes and Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo's only attempted 27 passes throughout the playoffs. He's relied more on his run game, as has Patrick Mahomes. And I'm expecting a shootout both in the air and on the ground. But in this kind of matchup, I'm going to take Kansas City.
Gotcha. Well, we'll see if your opinion changes next week. Before that, we were talking about the Jimmy Garoppolo trade that happened a couple of years ago. How do you think? Now that we're a little ways out from that trade, we saw Tom Brady win a league MVP, get to a Super Bowl, and then the following year get back to the Super Bowl again and win it. This year we saw him go one and done. We see Jimmy Garoppolo get to his first Super Bowl this year as a starting quarterback for the 49ers. Basically, the Patriots only got a second-round pick, got a second-round pick for Jimmy G. They could have probably gotten a little bit more for him, especially from Cleveland. They could have gotten the 12th overall pick that turned out to be Deshaun Watson. Question is, analyzing that trade, Mike, do you think one team came out ahead of the other, or do you think the trade kind of has broken even?
I think San Francisco got the better of that trade with Jimmy Garoppolo. New England just didn't get a good enough haul from the 49ers. I think had the Patriots done the deal with Cleveland, they would have had a successor to Tom Brady in Deshaun Watson.
Very true. I think they would have too. And it would have helped them because they would have had, it would have come a little bit later. So you would have had 5 years of control over Deshaun Watson at a reasonable price. You wouldn't have had to worry about, having to, you traded Jimmy G, so you got him off the roster. I mean, I think it probably would have worked out a little bit better, but Belichick wanted to put Jimmy G, Garoppolo, into the right situation with the right head coach.
Situation possible
in
San Francisco. If it were me in that trade situation, I would have made the deal with Cleveland because I know how bad Cleveland is. I would have wanted to get a better draft pick from the Browns and hopefully turn that into a successor for Brady.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I probably would have done the Cleveland trade myself. I know that, yes, you're trading Garoppolo within the conference, so you might have to go up against them time to time, but we see how dysfunctional Cleveland is, so who knows what talent they would have put. You could have a good quarterback and no talent around him, so as dysfunctional as Cleveland has been and continues to be, you don't know if they would have ever put talent around Garoppolo to make him a better quarterback.
Hey, we've seen Carson Wentz do more with bad talent. So
exactly,
who knows what Jimmy could have done with Cleveland's talent or lack thereof.
Exactly. I mean, I know there's talent there now with
Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, and Baker Mayfield.
Yep. I mean, you wouldn't have, Garoppolo instead, and you.
We would have had Garoppolo. We would have had.
Yeah, I mean.
Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry.
Yep. I mean, there you go. I mean, that right there is if you put a competent head coach with those guys, you have a playoff. Yeah. You have a playoff bound team there. I think.
You'd have at least a 10-win team in Cleveland if you put a competent head coach.
Yep.
Hugh Jackson was a competent coach, but he had little to no talent.
I agree with you there, Mike. So the other thing, a fun thing that came out of this week is apparently now Pat Mahomes has passed Tom Brady to lead all players in merchandise sales in the NFL. So Pat Mahomes appears to be the guy. People are buying up his jersey. They're buying less of Tom Brady's, maybe because people already have his jersey, and Pat Mahomes is the new thing, the new in thing.
Quarterback.
Yep. So, Mahomes selling more jerseys than Carson Wentz, than Kelsey, Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson. Pat Mahomes is the guy, apparently, with merchandise sales.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes has become the man when it comes to merchandise sales. You got a great young quarterback who can burn you with his arm and his legs. He's in his first Super Bowl, and he has a great team around him with a great coach in Andy Reid, who's now in his second Super Bowl, looking for redemption from 15 years ago. So when you got all that going for you, you're sure to get plenty of merchandise sales. So kudos to Patrick Mahomes.
I agree. Just got this text in. Apparently, talking NFL here. Drew Brees has said, "I'll only play for the Saints." So, if the Saints are going to move on from Drew Brees, then I guess Drew Brees will wind up retiring this year, along with Eli Manning. So that's an interesting thing. Maybe the Saints move on and maybe get a quarterback in this year's draft, or maybe next year. Maybe they go with Teddy Bridgewater. Maybe they move on from Drew Brees and go for Teddy Bridgewater for 1 year. Or maybe they draft one of the quarterbacks this year, move up to take one of them. But that's interesting that Drew Brees has said that he will only play for the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, that is interesting. I don't see the Saints going with Bridgewater. I have little to no confidence in Bridgewater. I do see the Saints trying to move up to get one of the quarterbacks, but in case that doesn't work, they'll probably go Bridgewater for a year or two. Hopefully get a quarterback in the next draft or 2022. But I have little to no confidence in Bridgewater. I'm just going to put that out right now. I didn't like him much in Minnesota. I still do not like him much in New Orleans. So if they go Bridgewater for a year, I don't see much going for the Saints. I see them going 7-9 if they go Bridgewater.
Maybe. We saw him win a few games for the Saints this year. Maybe that gives the Saints a little bit of confidence going forward, saying, hey, we could draft a quarterback this year or next year, sign Bridgewater or another quote-unquote bridge quarterback to get him through the next year or two, and put a little bit more confidence in Sean Payton as a head coach to devise some good offensive schemes, and kind of work with Bridgewater for a year or two as they transition away from Drew Brees. But that definitely limits him financially if he's coming out and he's saying, I'm only going to pay for the Saints. Well, now the Saints know we don't have to offer you top money. We can offer you whatever we offer you and take it or leave it, which, hurts his bargaining position. If I'm Drew Brees' agent, I'm not sure that I would want that getting out there because it really weakens our position. But if Drew Brees only wants to play for the New Orleans Saints, I admire that. He can retire a Saint if that's the case. But, it means that the Saints may be moving on from Drew Brees this offseason.
Yeah, I admire Drew Brees wanting to play for only the Saints. Reminds me of course, Manning wanting to play for only the Giants. Or in baseball, Derek Jeter only wanting to play for the Yankees, which he did throughout his entire career. Shows dedication to one team, one fan base, and obviously the fans of that team, that you're willing to stick with them no matter what. And Brees, he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league, no question about it, but he's not getting any younger, and I think he misplayed on his part by taking to social media and saying that he will only play for the Saints, because that hurts his bargaining chip, not only for him but for his agent. So he can't negotiate a better salary. And puts the ball in the Saints' court. That puts the advantage in the Saints' court with their GM, so they can say, "Here's what we're going to offer you. Take it or leave it." And if he doesn't like that, he's just going to retire.
Yep.
That was a major misplay on the part of Drew Brees.
I agree. Wanted to get your take real quick, too. Do you think Derek Jeter should have been a unanimous Hall of Fame selection? There was one voter that did not vote for him. Otherwise, he would have been unanimous. What was your take on the whole Jeter not being a unanimous Hall of Famer?
I think he should have been a unanimous Hall of Famer. Only played for one team his entire career. Never was involved in any steroid scandals. Never was involved in any cheating scandals. Astrobridge. And he showed a lot of love for his fans, no matter where they were, no matter what team they rooted for. Doesn't matter what team you rooted for. Jeter was the people's player. So Jeter should have been a unanimous Hall of Famer. No question.
I kind of agree with you now. If that voter that did not vote for Jeter was voting for somebody else to kind of keep them on the ballot, because players come off the ballot after a certain number of years.
15 years.
Yep. So if that voter looked at the ballot and said, I want to keep this guy on there for at least one more year, and maybe I can make a case for him to get into the Hall of Fame. If that was the and we may find out who the person was. Maybe we do, maybe we don't, and the reasons why he didn't vote for Jeter. Maybe he was a Mariano Rivera fan. Who knows? But, and maybe wanted to keep, that kind of sacred a little bit. But for, whatever reason that he had, if he was doing it for a legit reason, I have no problem with Jeter not being a unanimous Hall of Famer. But the good thing is that Jeter got in on his first ballot. I think.
Yeah, that's what I called last year, that Jeter was going to get in unanimous. Not unanimous first ballot. I called it back when he retired in 2014 that he was going to get in first ballot. And thank the Lord I was right. I knew I was going to be right when I said he was going to get in first ballot. I was hoping it would be unanimous, but I read somewhere, don't know where, that the one writer that didn't vote for Jeter was going for Abreu, because Abreu was low on the totem pole and he wanted to make a case for him. So I think that's the reason why Jeter didn't get in, because one baseball writer was going for Bobby Abreu and wanted to make a stronger case for Abreu getting into the Hall of Fame.
Gotcha. All right, Mike.
I don't know where I read it, though. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay. We can get back to us next week on that. Right now, I'm going to shift over a little bit. We're going to reinstate our segment that has been long absent on the Sports Skillet radio show. We're going to reinstitute it right here on the Sports Skillet live stream. It is called Hero, and we encourage everybody on our social media platforms to tell us a team or a person who you like to praise, who's been doing well recently, or feel free to rip somebody. That's what the heel part of it is for. If you want to rip a team, if you want to rip a player, somebody who's been aggravating you, somebody who's been a detriment to your team recently, and you want to just go ahead and rip them, that's what the heel segment is for. So praise somebody, that would be the hero, somebody who's maybe doing well in the community or on your team, and you want to offer them a vote of confidence, praise. It could be a team or a player, or conversely, somebody who's just been annoying you and just been dragging your team down, and you just want to vent and get it out there and let it fly. This is your segment. We call it Heel or Hero, and let me get the bells going. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Okay, we will start with Jeff Scott over there.
Okay, that was an interesting segment there. Bells.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a heel question mark. Because
Okay.
I don't know if you would consider this good or bad. I think in the end it is bad. But our favorite person is back in the news again. The one that messed up the Patriots. And only got to play
Antonio Brown.
And the Raiders.
Yep. So he is back in the news.
And the Steelers.
After assaulting a moving employee. Apparently he was having his stuff moved. Apparently he had a dispute over the price. And then they tried to take his stuff and not give it to him. And he threw rocks and assaulted the person and tried to, their quote is, steal his stuff back. So he's been arrested, and today he just made a $100,000 bail. So he has an ankle bracelet. He now has to go through mental health evaluation. That'll be rich. And also go through drug and alcohol testing. And not only that, but also relinquish his passport and apparently his guns. So apparently he's been strapped. So... And the funny thing is, I'm looking at a picture of him before the judge. He's sitting there with a bulletproof vest on. I'm thinking, why?
Well, probably because to protect him from other people doing harm to him.
Yeah, sure.
That's
probably
normally
so. It's actually probably so they could shoot him, and man, I felt like I doing that all day. But my question is okay, all that is bad, and we know he has issues, not only the scandal going on with the NFL and the whole sexual charges and everything.
Yep.
Now he has this. Now, my question is, if you hire a moving company to move your stuff.
Correct.
And let's say they, regardless of, they may be screwing you with the price or have a dispute, do they have a legal obligation to hold your stuff? Technically, wouldn't that be considered stealing? Because you're paying them to move it, not hold it.
Exactly.
So if you try to get your stuff back, is that really considered stealing your stuff back? It's your stuff.
Yeah.
So this is where I say heel question mark, because I'm like, he was technically doing what he needed to do to get his property back. Maybe he went around it the wrong way.
He definitely went about it the wrong way. No question. But my question is, how did the stuff get in the van to be? Obviously,
that's the thing. He paid them to have the stuff moved.
Okay. So he paid them to put the stuff in their van.
Yeah. Well, apparently he
truck.
agreed to have them move it.
Yeah.
Apparently payment has not been done yet.
So now they're like, okay, we've got your stuff. If you want to get it back, we want you to pay. You got to pay us.
Yeah, but it's right there. It's on his property. It's in a van. They refused to get it out. My thing is, if that's the type of company like, oh, I have your stuff here, pay me and I'll take it off the truck. No. I will pay you when the stuff is off the truck. That's how moving companies, the ones I've dealt with, work. They don't threaten you. It's like, give me your money or else. It's like, well, what kind of company is that? That seems kind of shady to me.
Unless...
Yeah, it seems kind of sketchy to me, Jeff Scott. But to build off your point, I think they do have a legal right to hold your stuff until payment. So I don't think Antonio Brown was in the right. He did it all wrong. But the moving company does have a legal right to hold your stuff until payment.
Well, I want
So
to.
the moving company was in the right there.
Yeah, I want to see that though. I mean, where is it written? So
could be
that's
in the
something
contract.
I want to look. I mean, it could be. That's what I wanted to find out.
Could be in the contract. I'm with you on that one, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see this contract. So it's like that's something you always want to double check. Like, all right, is there something on here?
I think that goes under client company confidentiality.
Well, true, I understand that, but I'm saying if you go to a company, I mean, I could find out the name of this company and go there and be like, hey, here's the contract. But if you're paying someone to move something, and in the contract says you have to pay us before we take it off the truck, okay, I get you. That makes sense. You sign that contract agreeing to these statements. But if it's not in there, see, this is where that question mark comes in.
And you know, it could be a situation where they may have required a deposit. Yeah. Like, and they started putting because you deal with two different layers. You could deal with the owner of the moving company or the manager or whatever, and they say, okay, you know, in order for us to move it, we need X amount of, you know, here's the total price. We need X amount of money as a deposit, good faith deposit, and then when we get to the site that we're moving into, we want the rest of the money, right? So it could be a situation where he's talking to the owner or manager, whatever, off to the side. The workers are going through and moving the stuff onto the truck, and they've got, you know, tables and chairs and whatever already loaded onto the truck, and then Antonio Brown is pulling his antic and saying, no, I'm just going to pay you as soon as we get there, and the manager is saying, oh no, if you want us to move the stuff now, we need X amount of dollars as a deposit.
Yeah, there's that.
You know,
but also, are they also throwing a different price at him than what was originally agreed to? So that's the question. That's something they never explained here. They just said, "Oh, he had a dispute. He threw rocks. He attacked the driver. You know, he's messing with the property."
You got to go to.
So,
you know,
I mean, this is Antonio Brown we're talking about, so we know he has a problem.
See, and that
you got to go to the municipality for.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See, the physicality is what he's being charged with, not necessarily the stuff with the moving van stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you can disagree with the moving company all you want, take them to court, whatever. But the minute you start assaulting somebody and throwing punches and rocks and damaging that company's equipment, now it becomes a whole different issue. Yep.
Yeah. And that's why I put the question with him, because he's definitely a heel. I mean, we all know that. Yep. You know, he has an issue. He has some kind of mental problem. Exactly. You know, he has some kind of mental problem. And he should have just called the police if he had a dispute about the price. And here's what's going on.
Here's the other thing that goes along with that. We saw the Antonio Brown video last week that, you know, came out when or 2 weeks ago that came out when his wife, or not his wife, his, I don't know, former girlfriend or whatever you want to call her, came over to pick up his kids, and he was, you know, cussing at her in front of the kids and the policeman and all that. So, you know, him calling the police probably wouldn't solve it, you know.
No. It was probably the furthest thing from his mind then.
Probably, especially with, you know, decency and, you know, any kind of logic.
Yep. But, you know.
His mind is beyond logic.
Oh,
I agree with you there, Mike. But I will say this. Based upon what Jeff Scott just read to me, I I like the fact that Antonio Brown is getting counseling. You said both.
About time, too.
Yes,
Yeah.
you said both drug and mental health counseling.
The drug and alcohol counseling, the mental health examination.
Examination.
So maybe we'll find out,
what's exactly going on there. And third thing that you read, which was another big key in all of this, they're taking away his weapons.
Yeah, his weapons, his passport, and they GPS tracked him. So he's got the ankle monitor. They know where he is at all time.
So that to me
there.
Yeah, I mean, that to me are three big keys that, in the saga of Antonio Brown that tell me that things are maybe moving in the right direction for him, because there's no doubt about it that he needs, above all, he needs counseling. He needs to get into a program. He needs to turn his life around, because the people that he's hanging with definitely are not the people that he should be hanging around with.
Yeah, definitely negative influences.
You're in a horrible crowd right now. A very horrible crowd.
Yeah, I mean, it appears to me that the crowd that he's hanging around with are the type of people that are getting pleasure out of seeing how far down he will spiral, kind of laughing at him, kind of, are those guys, ooh, let's see what you're going to do next. Ooh, let's see what we can provoke Antonio Brown to do now. What outrageous thing can we get our buddy to do now, because we know he'll do it. And those kind of people in the mental state and capacity that he's in, it's just absolutely wrong. Those are the people that he needs to cut off. He needs to get into, like he is now, a mental health program, a counseling program, drug and alcohol, in case that's affecting him. And he definitely does not need to have any guns and ammo around him.
No, definitely not. And he spent a night in jail, so hopefully maybe that'll be a wake-up call saying, all right, I know he spent a night. I don't know if he's done it before. I'm not going to assume or question. I mean, if this is the first time he ever had to spend time in an actual jail cell, maybe that'll, hey, I don't like this.
Kind of wake him up a little bit. Yeah.
I'm hoping this is a wake-up call.
Yep. So, Mike, do you have a heel or hero of the week?
I actually have both.
Okay, hold on for 1 second.
Oh, here it comes.
Go for it, Mike.
My heel is going to be Aaron Rodgers. He should have won that NFC title game, but he choked. He and his offense, not just his offense, his entire team choked. What are you doing, Aaron Rodgers? You're one step away from the Super Bowl, and you choke. Oh, my God, Aaron Rodgers. 3 times you've lost in the NFC title game. Oh, my God. Aaron Rodgers, you're better than this. You should have beaten the 49ers. You didn't. Now you have the rest of the offseason. You have all spring, and you have all summer to think about what you've done. You're in the penalty box now, Rodgers.
Okay, and you said you have a heel, Mike?
That was my heel.
Oh, that was your heel. Okay. You have a hero, Mike, or no?
I do, and I'm actually going to go to my neck of the woods for this one. My hero is going to be my old high school, Hightstown High School, and their athletic director for giving me my start in blogging about high school sports. I want to give a big shout out to the athletic director there. Thank you so much for giving me my start. God bless you. And once a Ram, always a Ram.
There you go. It sounds like he did a really good job working with you.
He is. He's doing a very good job working with me.
Awesome. All right. So.
No. Oh.
Yes. Okay. So, my heel of the week is those social media trolls that went into the account and actually criticized former Temple basketball player Delonte West. If you're not keeping up on this, Delonte West used to play in the NBA, was a good NBA player, was a teammate of Jameer Nelson, and has fallen on hard times recently. He, definitely, if you go in and you kind of Google him, he's having some mental health issues, does not look right, is just not doing well at all. We saw him getting one of the viral videos. We didn't put it up on our site because we didn't want to exacerbate the situation any more than it is. I'm sure his family and close friends has seen it. And, so Jameer Nelson has fallen on hard times after playing in the NBA. And it's just a very tragic situation. Like I said, one of the viral videos shows him getting beat up in the middle of a road. Also shows him being handcuffed on the side of the road. He does not look well at all. He made a bunch of money during his NBA career. It was a good career for him. But he's fallen on hard times. And for these social media trolls to kind of poke fun at him and to take pleasure in the issue that he's dealing with, mental health and financially, are absolutely deplorable. And we wish all the best for him. Hopefully those closest to him, maybe Phil Martelli, former teammates, can reach out to him, get him the help that he needs, and get him back on his feet. But for those social media trolls that made fun of him, that took pleasure on him, that posted the video, really did not need to be posted. So for those guys, you are my heels of the week. So there we go with our Heels and Heroes segment. Pretty good having that back on the show.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I don't even remember that segment being on the show.
It was on our show on 9/20. I wanted to bring it back, and start of the new year, so I'm bringing it back.
Sounds good.
So
probably on the show before I came along.
Yeah, but now we have it back, and it'll be a good segment on our live stream here going forward. So glad to have it back. We've been on the air for a while, so
well, before we move on real quick, just checking our feed here. We have a new watcher listener, Bone Crusher, out there, giving a little shout out to him, saying welcome, keep watching, and check us out this Sunday too at 11 on 920 The Jersey.
Absolutely. We get some good guests going on there as well. I'm going to have more guests coming on to our live stream here, so stay tuned for that. And like I said, Bone Crusher, we talk about anything and everything. So if you want to chime in there, just type something in and we'll get it answered for you. We'll discuss it. Could be anything: baseball, basketball, football, hockey, tennis. We had a little bit of an event happen, yesterday, I believe.
I think so.
A top tennis player lost.
Boo-hoo.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm not a huge fan.
No, you're not. No, you're not at all. But
that's okay.
So, Mike, any final words for this week?
Yeah, I'm hoping for an okay Pro Bowl, but in watching previous years, I'm not sure if we're going to get that. So I am just going to flip on over to Fox for 911 Lone Star. And as for the Super Bowl, if it gets out of hand, I'm just going to stay and watch for the season 3 premiere of Masked Singer. So.
Oh, that's right. That's coming out after it, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, can't wait.
I'm obsessed with that show. I'm so obsessed with that show. It's not even funny anymore.
So you're really looking forward to it, huh, Mike?
Yeah, season 3 of The Masked Singer. It's going to be big. 2 more maskers are joining the party. 18 stars. Figure them out just by their singing voice.
All right. Sounds good. I'm going to be looking forward to that as well. Definitely a good show. All right, Mike.
It's very bingeable, too. They have all the episodes on the Fox website.
Oh, nice. Definitely. So, all right, Mike, we will talk to you again next Friday afternoon. I wish you and your family a good weekend. Hope you guys enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you right back here next week, next Friday afternoon on the Sports Skillet live stream.
See you then.
All right, Mike, have a great weekend. And, of course, that was Mike Nebbia. He contributes to us here on the Friday live stream. Also writes some pretty good articles for us that we have posted on our website. All you have to do is go over to sportsskilletradio.com and check out Mike's articles. There was another issue that kind of came out today. I'd like to get my brother's opinion on it as well. I may talk to him about this when I get home. And what it is an issue with the New Orleans Saints. And let me see, I wrote it down here. I have all these notes that we have for the show here.
This is a historical moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I'm
Jay
looking
has
through
notes.
them. It is. So let me find the right. Oh, here it is. So here's the whole dealio, and you can look this up. The Saints are the New Orleans Saints as a organization are in a little bit of hot water. Because apparently the Catholic diocese in New Orleans came to them and wanted their opinion on how they should handle the sex abuse crisis within their diocese within New Orleans. They asked them for some PR help.
Okay. So I'm going to try to keep this nice and straightforward so I understand. The Catholic Church went to a football team.
Yes.
And asked them for PR help to make them look good because of all the naughty things they're doing.
In a nutshell, yes.
I want to make sure I understood that. I'll be over here.
Yeah.
Laughing.
Yeah, basically. Basically, that's exactly what happened. Let's see if I can bring it up here. Give me 1 second for it to load. But basically, yeah, that's exactly what happened is they came, the Saints have since released a statement here. Let's see if I got it. I thought it said the Saints had released a statement, but basically what happened was the Catholic Church had a sex abuse crisis, and now a court-appointed special master will hear arguments from the New Orleans Saints to prevent the release of emails from executives that reportedly show them offering public relations help to the city's Roman Catholic Archdiocese as it dealt with multiple allegations of sexual abuse against its clergy members. Per Jeff Mustaine of the Associated Press on Friday today, attorneys for the 12 plaintiffs in the lawsuit found through discovery that the Saints aided the Archdiocese of New Orleans in its pattern and practice of concealing crimes. A full list of Saints executives involved aren't listed, but the team's senior vice president of communications, Greg Benzel, was mentioned. Multiple team personnel were also said to have used their team-affiliated email addresses to advise church officials about their messaging and how to soften the impact of the Archdiocese release of a list of clergy members credibly accused of sexual abuse.
Okay, this just got more interesting. So it's not just them coming to them saying, hey, help us with our PR image. They're now in a cover-up.
Apparently so. Like,
I'm just going to say this once. Catholic Church, if you want to stop with the bad publicity and all that, punish the ones that did bad things, get them out of there, and stop doing it.
I agree. Except I would go one more step, is turn them over to authorities.
Well, that's what I mean. Punish them.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Do what you should be doing. Turn them over to the authorities like you should.
Strip them of their, defrock them, strip them of their priesthood.
Yeah, whatever you call that, excommunication, whatever.
Excommunicate them, yep. Exactly. Strip them of their authority within the Catholic Church. Strip them from becoming a priest. Say if you're, give them their due process and everything.
Yeah, let them have their time in court like they should.
But going forward, if they're found guilty and everything, after their due process, strip them of their priesthood, turn them over, whatever legal matters they have, you're done in the Catholic Church. That's it. That's all gone. Goodbye.
Exactly. Yeah. Like they excommunicate other people for lesser charges. I mean, come on.
But this also doesn't look good for the New Orleans Saints going forward.
No, it doesn't.
And now, if you're the New Orleans Saints, I think you have to get out ahead of this. Because
you're saying it's the people in charge of it, the management type stuff in the organization, not like coaches or team members, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's basically like more the media. It's more like the PR front office types. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. So at least the team itself is kind of.
Yeah, like the play. Yeah. Yeah, like the players. It doesn't say that the coaching staff was involved. It was just like the PR staff,
the media people and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, they should be removed.
Agreed.
They should be sent over to authorities for aiding and abetting. I think that's the term, right? And like you're saying, get ahead of this. Get them out of there. Cut the cancer out.
Saints say advice to local archdiocese was simple and never wavering. Encouraged being open and fully transparent.
So at first they said,
that's the same statement that they just released.
But yet those emails that say cover this, cover that. Well, that's open and transparent.
Well, now you're and that's, to me, right there, boom. Encouraged being open and fully transparent. That's like one sentence. Okay, here, the archdiocese comes to them. That's all you have to write. Be open and transparent. Don't waver. And that's like two sentences. Boom, done.
Yeah.
So why are multiple, and the thing said multiple people from the Saints were caught up in this, and not only that, but now you have to look at the head of the PR and all. You have to, if I'm the New Orleans Saints, the fact that you're going to court if it was this, here's my take. If it was this, and the New Orleans Saints say it was simple and never wavering, encouraged the Catholic Church to be open and fully transparent, right?
Right.
One or two sentences. If you're going to court to prevent these emails from being released, that tells me, because that right there is not damaging.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I wouldn't consider it damaging.
No.
If the church came to me and said, "What do I have to do? Be open and fully transparent. Don't hold anything back, and you'll be good."
Right.
Okay. If it's that, okay.
Then you're fine.
I'm fine. Here's the emails. I'll turn them over to you. There's nothing there. The fact that the Saints are going to court and are having this special guy determine the release or not of these emails says that this statement is pretty much garbage.
Exactly.
That there is more there than this statement.
Exactly.
And for the Saints to issue that when you're going to court to prevent the release of these emails, that is horrible. So right now, whoever issued this statement, gone. Come into my office, you're gone.
Yeah.
Because you're covering up the cover-up.
Exactly. Can I change my heel? I think I'll do the Saints media, whoever the hell is in charge of that. Excuse me. But I can tell you're upset at this.
I'm upset because I'm upset.
Borderline.
Oh yeah,
I'm just the same.
Yeah, I mean I'm upset because the Saints are trying to cover up what they, are
They're trying
covering
to cover up something they should never have been in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, if it's this statement. Here's the email, Jeff. Take a look at it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. Okay. You told them to do the right thing. Good job.
Be open, be honest, and don't waver from your stance.
Exactly.
If there was a priest that, that was, not being naughty and, was guilty, of this, and you're open and honest with it, nobody's gonna, and he was punished. Then, and he's now no longer a Catholic priest or allowed to be around kids, nobody's going to criticize you for that.
Exactly. That would be the right thing to do.
Exactly.
But if I come to you and go, hey, can I have those emails? Yeah. Well, why? What's wrong with them? Didn't you tell them no?
Well, the tone of them,
it could be misinterpreted as us helping them cover it up. Like, well, did you?
Not really. We just gave them advice,
Gave them advice on how to.
How to soften the blow, how to make it more appealing to the masses out there. Are you kidding me, New Orleans Saints?
Come on.
Now you almost have to blow up your media relations department.
It's a good thing they're not in a Super Bowl this year. This would have. Oh my God! Can you? Oh, I can't even think.
And now this is coming out. Maybe, you know what? Maybe it's a little bit of karma what has happened to the New Orleans Saints the past couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
With the pass interference fiasco. Maybe that's a little karma kind of, because you know what they say about karma.
Oh, yeah. It comes right back at you.
It may take a little while for karma to figure out how it's going to attack you and make you pay. But maybe, last year and this year or whatever with the playoff fiasco there, maybe this is karma finally catching up with the New Orleans Saints for, assisting with the Catholic Church and trying to there is no softening the blow to sexual abuse.
No.
If you are guilty of it, you should pay the price for it.
Exactly.
And everything. There's no softening the blow to that. And that's what the Catholic Church wanted the Saints help with. And the fact that the Saints helped them out in trying to soften the blow, no. I mean, if it's this, you don't have anything to worry about. Be open, be honest. Tell them what punishment the priest had. Gone. Good.
Exactly. And this doesn't make the Catholic Church look good either. It's something that's been going on for years now. And
exactly.
It's like now an NFL team is involved, and it's just it's going to be, thrown out there. More than what you think. So you're saying karma's making a loop?
Yep.
Well, here it is. Maybe you should have done the right thing in the first place.
Yep.
None of this would be happening. But guess what?
One guy, and all you had to do is put it, and here's the thing. If I'm like a regular person in the PR group or whatever, I'm not the manager. I'm just, a regular guy in there.
Yeah.
If I had any reservations, let me talk to my manager, and have the manager should have said, okay, I'll talk to the Catholic diocese. I'll handle it. You're out of the loop. So just refer to me and I'll handle all the emails.
Yeah.
That's what a manager should do if there's going to be any type of blowback or any type,
especially on this magnitude.
Because it happened. That's the way we handle things at Lockheed Martin. If there was any type of thing where, you know what, this thing could blow up. This thing could maybe get a little nasty. You know, let me talk to my supervisor about this, you know, and get his input on it. And then one of our supervisors would take, you know what, okay, Jay, you're out of it. I'll, go back to doing what you were doing. And
I'll throw you under the bus later. It's fine,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. But it's like, I'll handle this. I'll send out the email or, I'll deal with it. So,
but that's not what happened. So,
but apparently that's the manager may have known about it. The manager supervisor, whatever, may have sent out emails on their own. But obviously there were multiple people involved in this, multiple emails and everything.
Yeah. Hopefully they didn't try to downplay it by saying just take a trip to Epstein Island. Hopefully they didn't do that because that would look really bad.
Yes.
Because that would be, I could see that being twisted. It's like, no, I was making a joke.
Exactly.
And it came out wrong. And, well,
guess
what?
And
it's
who
coming
knows?
out wrong anyway.
And who knows? Like I said, maybe that was in the emails. Who knows? We'll joke around. Maybe the guys on the New Orleans Saints, may know some of these priests, may be attending.
Yeah.
So when somebody, I'm involved in the Knights of Columbus and everything, and I know several priests and everything. So sometimes when you know a priest or whatever, the conversation is more relaxed. You're joking around with them.
Yeah.
But when you, and this is the thing, and this is what I always say about emails too. It's better to call up someone and talk to that person or have a face-to-face conversation with that person than to text or email, because when you text or email someone, like we could be, like you and I are friends. I could text you something or email you something, and all of a sudden you're looking at that and you're like, wait a minute, this is out of Jay is, you take it a different way than the way I'm coming across in the email or the text.
I can't hear the reflection, the innuendo that you put into there. It's words, and you interpret that the same way. I mean, I have difficulty that way too, but I try to keep my texts. Like I've sent text to you and I just do LOL or I do something to indicate I am joking.
Yep.
I'm just playing around with what I say.
Exactly.
And the day I don't have those in there, I'm being serious.
Yeah.
They don't take that with emails. Emails, here it is. It's dry. Point taken, done.
Exactly. And that's why I always say, if there's a question or you're looking at a text or an email a certain way, it's better to call that person up or sit down, have a face-to-face, because emails and texts can be taken multiple, when you type something, and the one thing is, once it's out there and you type it in, same way it is on social media, it's gone.
Yep.
And you're not going to be able to get it back, and it's out there for anybody who sees that text or email to digest or interpret it the way that they want to digest or interpret it. And even if they know that, you may have been intending something else, they could put it out there to damage your reputation or whatever.
Exactly.
Even though that's not what you were intended. I know that's not what you're intended, but you know what? That sounds a little fishy to me. I'm just going to throw it out there and, see if people, So, and you can't get it back once it's sent. Once you hit send on there, that's the key thing.
It's done. And if you forget to put your LOLs and your wink emojis in there, forget it. You lose any content.
And we don't know, and the other thing is your biases, and when these emails, and they're coming from Saints team accounts, according to what we read on Bleacher Report and everything. Again, now, that's company property right there. You're using company assets to do this. So that is another issue on top of this too. Work for Lockheed Martin. They always had that little disclaimer in there. Whatever you send out, is
we monitor.
We have the whatever you send out from your company computer. We have every right to go in there and audit your emails and and take action against you.
Yeah, you're using their assets.
Yep.
So it's like, okay. So all of a sudden here, this priest or whoever, archdiocese, comes to, like you're saying, they probably know somebody. It's like, hey, I know so-and-so in the Saints. I'll reach out to them. Maybe they can help us. And you think that person would have been like, give me this email for so-and-so to help with this. Let me respond back.
Yeah.
No, instead of, like you're saying, I'll send this to my manager and say, hey,
here's what I got.
Here's what
I got. Or maybe the manager said, hey, let's all email or I don't know.
Yeah.
But
or maybe it was a conversation. You get to that point. Hey, how's it going? Oh, it's going great. Da, 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 da. Yeah. By the way, I have this little problem. Huh?
Yeah.
What? And then this personal email chain suddenly is now, because who knows what they're talking about? And it could be. I mean, devil's advocate, ironically. He could be talking to his priest, sure, over company email, but because there's that priest, what is that thing called, Jay? The
confidentiality.
Yeah, with that. So here's that. You're talking about personal things with your priest or whatever, using your email. It's your name, but it's the company email. And I know some companies have that little flexibility about stuff like that, and some is okay, but over the top is not. Put that out there, and then all of a sudden, hey, can you help me with this? Oh, now that confidentiality chain is now in danger.
Yeah.
Because how do you keep this separate from this? Because now here's something where someone else might be put into the limelight and they are not supposed to be.
Yep.
I mean, there is that aspect. That's the other side of this type of conversation because, they're doing bad. They should never have been involved in this PR thing.
And here's the other thing that may have happened too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We always had Jeff and I worked in security at Lockheed, and we would have new personnel, security associates coming on board with us at Lockheed. So let's say that one of the new employees, got this email from one of the priests. And again, we're all supposing this. It still has to come out, but we're, discussing this topic. And, so one of the new associates on board got the email. And I walked over to, or they walked over to somebody, and that was more of a senior person, not necessarily the manager, but a more person who maybe be on the same level with them or a level up, not necessarily a manager, but like, hey, you know what? I got this email from like the Catholic Church reaching out to me. Would you mind taking a look at it? How should I respond? So, boom, now it's gone to another person, and then that person may have then said to their friend, like, oh, like they forwarded it to me, and I'm like, hey, Jeff, take a look at this email. And now it's now 1, 2, 3, right? That are kind of, okay, I'll tag my response, I tag my response, he tagged his response, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you know what, maybe we should forward it to our manager. Now all of a sudden, 1, 2, 3, now the manager's involved.
Yeah, so you have all these people
and with the email, and again, we don't know what slang words may have been in these emails as well. Describing the situation, describing me, because everybody has their own way of writing and describing things and everything like that. So we don't know what vernacular was used in the emails, which may be another reason why the Saints want to keep these emails our public records and everything, because that could be even more damning. Because obviously this is just coming out now. Who knows how many emails, total emails, are involved in this, and
any meetings or phone calls that have happened with this too. It's not. This is just emails we're talking about.
Yeah.
Who knows how much this escalated?
And exactly, and the approval that was given by upper management and no action was taken.
Yeah.
You know, again, you know, I go back to the recent scandal in Major League Baseball. You know, the Houston Astros lost their general manager. And why did they lose their general manager? Well, maybe you knew, maybe you didn't know, but in your role, you were supposed to know.
Exactly.
Like your direct reports were supposed to come to you and let you know what was going on if anything seems slightly hanky, or you were supposed to get up out of your office occasionally, take a walk around, interact with, you know, maybe the players, the coaches, and observe things that were going on. Same thing here.
Yeah.
Like, even though you were maybe senior vice president or whatever, or marketing,
you still got people under you.
You know, you still got people under you that, you know, sexual abuse scandal by the Catholic Church. We're sending out all these emails using company assets. You didn't know? Well, you were supposed to know. Exactly. You were supposed to interact with your direct reports and know what was going on, and they were supposed to come to you when an issue like this took place.
Exactly. You know what? A good CEO of any company knows who's in the mailroom.
Exactly.
Knows what's going on down there. It's not going, oh, really? Our mailroom is taking letters from the archdiocese and using our company assets to do this? I didn't know that. No. I got to be careful what I say here because I'm getting flustered, just like you, Jay.
Yeah.
Malarkey.
Exactly.
It's a bunch of malarkey. You should know what's going on in your own company.
Exactly. And if you don't, that means you're not doing a good job as a supervisor.
Yeah.
You know,
you could tell you're only in it for the money. You don't care about anybody under you.
You know,
that's how I feel.
And I completely agree with you. That should be the managerial style. Is if you didn't know, you were supposed to know.
Exactly.
You know, and something like this where you have direct reports that are emailing out, you know, to the Catholic Church advice or whatever, and they didn't come to you. They were supposed to come to you and say, hey, you know what? Just to keep you in the loop, here's what is going on. You know, and then you can take action, or you can shut it down right away and say, you know what, you're suspended for 30 days without pay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you're just fired for keeping it. I mean, the department, if they were keeping it from them, because obviously it's NFL. Let's say it's not like you would monitors everything on their computers. This is just the NFL, and they have stuff they keep within themselves. So if you have this over here and you're going, hey, how's everything going today? Oh, it's going great. Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, everything's good here. We got these new ads going out, this and that. Later on, what are we going to do about the archdiocese? Shut up. You know.
Yeah, that's not a good situation, because now I could get fired because of something you did.
Exactly. And as long as there's no, I mean, here's the key. If there's no paper trail that shows that the general manager knew and did nothing, as opposed to these guys kept it to themselves from the general managers and did everything on their own, that's one thing. So, and we'll obviously, as this keeps unfolding, we'll find out.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it, because know this is going to blow up as you know, as we go along, as the onion starts getting peeled as to who knew what and when and for how long, and you know, this is going to, like I said, right now, if I'm the owner of the New Orleans Saints, I am bringing that, you know, everything, everybody that had anything to do with it, that whole team, into like a huge auditorium conference room, and we're sorting this whole thing out.
Yeah,
you know.
And if I wasn't involved in this, I'd be like, you know what, I'm backing away from it. I quit. I cannot be a part of this. No. And like, you should remove yourself from it. I mean, sure, it's a great job. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes
start sending out your resume now.
Exactly.
Because there could be, you know, if I'm involved in that, you know, PR department, or, you know, I am right now, I am on Indeed.com, Host Monster, or
because you know what's going to happen.
Monster.com, and
you know what's going to be like, oh, so I see you worked for the Saints in the media department.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. I got out of there, and as you know, why?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm in there, my resume right now, I am sending it to all my friends and family, and Monster.com, Indeed.com, you know, posting stuff on LinkedIn. I am just like getting my resume and stuff out there because
just don't email your priest and say, "What should I do?"
Yes, exactly. I'm just because you don't know what sweeping changes the Saints are going to be forced to do.
Oh yeah,
and and of course if I'm Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, I mean this has to be a hot topic on my agenda now as to calling the Saints, finding out what's going on, and because the next thing that's going to happen is you're probably going to see the NFL coming out with, we are conducting an external investigation on the New Orleans Saints to find out, what transpired, what went on. That's going to be the next thing, from the league office, because they're not going to be able to leave this one alone. So, this is going to be, and it comes out right before the Super Bowl too.
I know, right?
So there's going to be a whole week where there's no, week plus where there's no Super Bowl. Then you're going to have the one big game, and then heading on to the draft after that. So there's not really anything for the NFL to really hang its hat on right now, so that when this, like I said, when the onion keeps getting peeled back, over the course of next months or however long, it could get uglier and uglier. And, you got the draft, but we're still a couple months away from that, Yeah. So, there's a lot of time for this onion to get peeled and for the nastiness to come out, especially if that arbitrator rules that the emails can become public record.
Right.
So if that happens, holy cow.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting,
Yep. And the fact that they even exist and that the Saints are trying to keep them out of the public eye, to me means there's something there.
Yeah.
There's smoke there.
Hopefully it's something good because like we mentioned, conversation between you and your priest. Obviously you don't want that to come out in the light of day.
Yep. So
they could be using that aspect. Or it is, like you're saying, it's something really bad and they shouldn't have done it in the first place.
Exactly. So I want to end on a little bit of an upbeat note.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, a little bit more, So we were talking about that scandal. But this coming Sunday, we have one of my favorite events of the year. It is the
all-you-can-eat steak night at the Sizzler.
Almost. Close to that. But it is the WWE's Royal Rumble. Coming up. We know that Brock Lesnar is going to enter the Rumble #1 and is going to try and stay in the Rumble as 29, 30 other competitors enter. And we'll hope. And Brock Lesnar's going to try and be standing there from the beginning to end. Something nobody's been able to accomplish yet, to my knowledge. So, at the Royal Rumble coming up on Sunday night, it's going to be really fun. So, we have the Men's Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble, which I will give you my predictions on. In a couple minutes, I'm going to save those two to the very end.
All right.
We have in a strap match Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan. So I am going to choose Bray Wyatt in that one. I think Bray Wyatt will go over in that one. I don't think they want to take the belt, and even if it is if it's a non-title match, I'm going with Daniel Bryan. But I think it is a title match, so I'll go with Bray in that one. But if it's a non-title match, I'll maybe give Daniel Bryan a win just so that they can kind of continue their feud there, because that's a feud to watch. We have for the SmackDown Women's Championship, champion Bayley going up against Lacey Evans. And Lacey Evans has kind of been coming on in recent weeks with her ladies right there. and I kind of like Lacey Evans in this one. I mean, I like Bailey as the heel, but I think they may want to freshen things up a little bit heading into the start of WrestleMania season. It might be nice to have Bailey as a heel with Sasha Banks chasing that women's championship again. So I'm gonna go with Lacey Evans there to kind of freshen things up a little bit, and have her with the championship for a little while. So I will go with Lacey Evans there. Roman Reigns versus King Corbin. I am going to go with Roman Reigns there. So it'll be a Falls Count Anywhere match, so no DQ there. So I'm going to go with Roman Reigns on that one. I think they're going to want him to start winning some matches heading into WrestleMania season again. No title on the line, so you don't have to worry about that just yet. So I'll go with Roman Reigns there. For the Raw Women's Championship, champion Becky Lynch will be trying to get her first victory over Asuka. And that has been a very, very good feud to watch if you haven't been paying attention to that. Love that feud between Becky Lynch and Asuka. Asuka, of course, with the Green Mist, with her tag team partner there. I'm going to say that Asuka may come away with the win again, because like I just described against Bailey, it might be interesting to have Becky Lynch chasing Asuka. Now that will make Asuka a double champion, because she's also one half of the WWE World Tag Team Champions, but that might make things a little bit more interesting, as Becky Lynch will not have gotten that career-defining win over Asuka, and then she'd be chasing Asuka to win back her championship, especially if Asuka wins again with the Green Mist or maybe some outside interference. It might be an interesting twist to their feud and keep things spiced up heading into WrestleMania season, because we don't know who Becky Lynch may be facing at WrestleMania. She's going to be defending her title there, but we don't know against whom. So that might make things a little bit interesting. Sheamus versus Chad Gable or Shorty G. I'm gonna go with Sheamus there. He's making his return after being off for a little while. First feud they gave him back is against Shorty G, Chad Gable. Chad Gable is an awesome talent, being drastically underutilized by the WWE. To give him the name Shorty G, I mean, it to me is utterly ridiculous. They're giving him one of those ridiculous gimmicks. I know he's trying to make it work and going along with it, but I liked it better when Ready, Willing, and Gable. I liked it better when he was in NXT. He's another guy. Needs to go back to NXT and get his gimmick back. Because being on the main roster and going by Shorty G is absolutely ridiculous to me. He needs a better gimmick. I like it when he was part of the tag team, be it heel or be it face or whatever. He just needs a new gimmick. Get rid of the Shorty G. I think it's making him into a joke, and he needs a much better gimmick. Sheamus will probably destroy him in like 10 seconds. Don't go to the bathroom. Don't get a beverage during this one, because it's probably going to be over by the time you get back. Exactly, and it's going to be utterly ridiculous. And Chad Gable, I love him. He has a boatload of talent. He's just being drastically underutilized, and we know that Sheamus is going to win. So, he'll kick Gable's head off and pin him. It's just a question of how quick. I'm saying it's probably going to be seconds, but I'm hoping that maybe Shorty G can do a couple of maneuvers in there. And then finally, for the United States Championship, newly minted champion Andrade goes up against Humberto Carrillo.
Okay, say that 3 times fast.
Andrade and Humberto Carrillo. Andrade and Humberto Carrillo.
Okay, stop. Okay.
Well, you asked me, so But I like
sarcastic. Come on.
Oh well, you know, we like to have fun here on the Sports Killer live stream. So I'm going with Andrade in this one. Looks like they may have finished his feud with Rey Mysterio, or they're putting Rey Mysterio on kind of the back burner. I like Humberto Carrillo. I think he's a good.
Humberto.
Yes.
Every time I hear Humberto, that's how I think about it. Humberto.
There you go. But I think he's a good up-and-coming talent. They're definitely promoting him. They're giving him some strong matches. I think this could be an undervalued match heading into the Royal Rumble. I think these two guys will do really well. May even tear the house down. Both of them are really good wrestlers. I look for Andrade to keep his U.S. championship, but I think Carrillo will show up and show out in this match, do really well, and I think they are going to put together a really nice program. And we're going to see this match probably again on one of the two big shows going forward, and and they're going to create a really good program together. Now, I said I would wait till the very end to announce my winners for the Royal Rumble matches. I am going to do this. Now, there are going to be, and what I love about the Royal Rumble is there's going to be surprises, because there always are older veteran wrestlers that come out. They don't really last
like The Undertaker 29,000 times?
Could be The Undertaker, could be somebody from the 1990s or early 2000s that we haven't seen in a while. I will say this in terms of a surprise. Maybe we see Booker T back in the ring. Again, these guys don't really last too long, but they hype the crowd up, and they're really fun. It's always somebody fun that we've kind of forgotten about, or maybe they're making their return, or they're making their jump to the main roster. So that's what makes the Royal Rumble really fun, right? And so we could be seeing Booker T in this Royal Rumble match. The other person we could see making her return is somebody that's been on WWE programming recently. And her name just left me. Son of a gun. Former WWE Women's Champion. Let me bring up her name again. I can see her because she has the black hair and everything. Yeah, I hate this. You're talking about it, you're waiting to do it. And you
let me guess, you never wrote it down.
I never wrote it down. I wrote down the winner, but the person that I said was going to be making her return, I forgot to write down, and I will get that for you in 2 seconds. But I can tell you the winner of the Royal Rumble women's match that I am predicting is going to be Shayna Baszler. So I am going to predict that Shayna Baszler will come out. She may be a little bit of a surprise. I think she's ready for the jump up to the main roster, and I think she will be the winner of the WWE Women's Royal Rumble. I think they need to inject some new talent onto the main roster when it comes to the women's division, and I think she will inject that talent onto and she will be like a Brock Lesnar, because she held the NXT Women's championship for quite a while. So she would be kind of like the women's division of Brock Lesnar, and she might provide that lift to Becky Lynch. She and Becky Lynch going back and forth for a world championship would be really cool, and I'm sure a lot of our fans would love to see that. So that is my prediction for the Women's Royal Rumble. And let's see, I can't. Son of a gun, I can't see her name on there. It doesn't have her listed. Came here with their Trish Stratus, Jacqueline. Shoot. Well, I'll find it. Anyway, we will have that, and then I did write down. Let me find it within my vaunted notes. Like I said, I have notes all over the place here. I have Drew McIntyre as winning the Men's Royal Rumble this year, because I think he would be perfect. They've been waiting to kind of elevate Drew. You see the reaction that Drew is getting from the fans out there, and I think Drew McIntyre put into a program with Brock Lesnar would be really good right now. He could challenge for either of the two belts. So, Drew McIntyre versus Bray Wyatt would be interesting. Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar would be even more so. He's getting an awesome reaction from the fans right now. He just needs that title opportunity. And I think he's becoming more of a tweener, bad guy, good guy. He's kind of a little of both. So anybody could kind of challenge him at this point. So, yeah, I would think Drew McIntyre would be the winner for me for the Men's Royal Rumble. And, of course, Shayna Baszler I'm looking at for the women's side.
Cool.
All right. So with that, again, we encourage you to subscribe on our YouTube, Facebook page so you don't miss any of this Sports Skillet live stream every Friday afternoon. Any topics you want to hear us discuss, feel free to drop us a line. Again, every Friday afternoon, our phone lines are open. You can give us a call at 856-330-4749 or just comment in our comment section. Mm-hmm. And again, follow us on our social media pages, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Of course, like, follow, and share to get the word out there. And again, tune in Sunday morning at 11 a.m. on Fox Sports Radio 920 The Jersey, or go to sportsskilletradio.com, download the app, just click on it, you can download it, you'll have it, and then you can tune in Sunday morning at 11 a.m., or you can just click on Listen Live, and you can hear all the great content that we have Sunday morning. We have a different cast and crew in there, so feel free to check us out.
Exactly.
So with that, have a great week, everybody. Tune in Sunday morning at 11. If not, we will see you back here Friday afternoon at 11 a.m.
Now say this out loud as you're driving around in your car.
Join Sports Skillet.
This what it feels like.
So how do you like it?
So what is it? I'm curious.
You like it like this?
My God, do we love football.
Or like this?
I love the sport of baseball.
And what about this?
You can have a sports show without all the vicious talk.
Simple human decency.
Whatever it is that you like.
Yeah, I like chaos.
We've got it covered.
Right?
It's sports the way you like it.
My friends, you may not know this. It's got everything you want.
Local and national sports talk that's fresh, in season, and FDA approved. If it's hot, you'll find it cooking with Jeff, Jay, and Kelly. They don't just stir the pot, they add more flavor than the other guys. Get ready to dig in and taste some Sports Skillet.
Ooh, tastes good.